Tonight, the multi-million-dollar election promise for the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens, and a Cummins driver to face court after allegedly refusing a police breath test.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. The Liberal government has matched Labor's funding pledge for the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens, but says it's doing it in a smarter way. The Deputy Premier says the party's approach will relieve Port Augusta ratepayers of the burden of the council's operating losses.
Sowing the seeds for a strong future. $3 million will be on its way to the Arid Land Botanic Gardens if the Liberal government is re-elected this weekend.
To be able to support the Arid Lands Botanic Garden right here in Port Augusta so that it can continue to grow and thrive.
It follows the City Council asking for government assistance after the gardens continue to operate at a loss.
The Labor Party has decided to agree to that and give Council money to support its deficit. Myself and the Liberal Party are doing it another way. We are going to give $3 million over 4 years to the Gardens Friends Trust.
Gives us more longevity for the garden, and the long term, it gives us time to work for a much longer term process for the garden.
The recipient trust has strict expenditure rules focused on what is best for the gardens.
We are going to ease the burden on ratepayers by providing the $3 million to this garden, but we're going to provide it very deliberately in a way that it's actually the Friends group that chooses how the money is spent.
The volunteer group already has projects in mind which can see the money put to good use.
We have no outside readily available public toilets when the garden is closed, so that's part of what we're looking at doing.
The Liberals say upgrades from the funding will attract more people to Port Augusta, a win for local businesses and tourism operators.
So this is great for ratepayers, great for the council, great for the Friends group. Most importantly, it's great for the garden.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
2 drivers will appear in court after being caught allegedly driving over the legal alcohol limit in the same night at Roxby Downs. Last Friday night, just after 9:30, police say a 27-year-old man allegedly returned a reading of 0.088. 2 hours later, in a separate incident, a 20-year-old man also allegedly returned a positive alcohol reading of 0.09. Both men had their cars impounded for 28 days and lost their licences for 6 months. Meanwhile, a driver is set to face court after he allegedly refused to comply with a breath test in Cummins. At around 7 p.m. on Sunday, police stopped a 26-year-old local man driving a Toyota Hilux on Fuss Street for a mobile driver test. The driver allegedly refused to comply with police instructions and failed to submit a breath test. He was issued with a 12-month loss of licence and summons to appear in court at a later date. The St Pat's races has been and gone, and everyone had a fun day. The behaviour by the patrons who attended has been praised by local authorities. The Barrier Liquor Board and police were both happy. All incidents were dealt with quickly.
Once the last horse had crossed the finish line, the party then moved into town. And while the day was as good as any at the track, the etiquette of racegoers continued throughout the night.
There was a couple of incidents in and around licensed venues that were dealt with very quickly, and I believe the behaviour out at the track on Saturday afternoon was really good as well.
This year, no one received barring from a licensed premises.
Last St Pat's, so 2021, there was a couple of multi-venue barrings from some incidents around town, but this year there's certainly nothing on the radar in regarding to our multi-venue barring policy.
More than 400 breath and drug tests were conducted last Saturday, with nearly 100 licensed premises inspections done.
The police were out there. Their presence was strong, but again, they're very, very happy with the way people behave.
One incident which put a damper on the weekend was an assault of a man on Oxide Street at 3:30 on Sunday morning. The assault is believed to not be connected with the races in any way. Police have received a decent amount of information on the incident, but are eager for people to contact if they know anything more.
But if people have information about it and they haven't yet provided it, by all means, ring Crime Stoppers or come to the police station or ring the station.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, the member for Giles slams SA Best's plan for a barracks in Port Augusta. And new buildings at Port Wincoln High School open to staff and students. Welcome back. SA Best continues to drive home. The Spencer Gulf is the best place for a new Army battalion in Port Augusta due to the Army's existing training facility. But Labor candidate Eddie Hughes says the barracks is yet another promise the party has made, which has no hope of coming true.
Will the Army be marching into our region? SA Best says everyone would be a winner if the Defence Force brought an Army battalion to the Upper Spencer Gulf.
I believe and still strongly believe we need a battalion here which would stimulate our economy and not make us a one-horse town.
With the Army's existing facilities between Whyalla and Port Augusta, as well as access to a seaport and rail line, the candidate says the region is ready.
When they had the exercises here about 3 years ago, it stimulated the economy immensely. You're talking 2,500 square kilometres of land. You're talking $85 million investment in Coltana. You've got El Alamein camp, so you can imagine how this will stimulate the economy.
But the member for Giles disagrees.
SA Best, they like to make things up. There was discussion in the past with the expansion at Coltana about a battalion, and Defence just ruled it out.
Saying the idea is always knocked back because you cannot simply pick up and move a battalion.
One of the challenges that Defence has is around retention. So there is a battalion, it is based in Adelaide, but then so are the partners, so are the families.
SA Best says Labor is not accounting for the Prime Minister's pledge to recruit an extra 20,000 uniformed defence personnel by 2040.
So really, we have to make sure we together advocate strongly as a community, and together we can make this happen.
We should focus on those things that we can deliver, and getting more contracts out of Defence for our local companies would be a big step forward.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The building developments at the Port Lincoln High School have now been completed, a project which has been highly anticipated for years. Students will now have access to the new facilities, offering up a range of spaces for increased learning.
A development that has been years in the making. Port Lincoln High School students will now have access to brand new facilities.
Yeah, it's been an 18-month project, a full 12 months of consultation before that, but this has been something that the school's been looking forward to, and our local member, a retiring local member, Peter Trelaw, has been on this project for us in the background for onwards of 10 years.
The development's supported by funding from the state government.
Look, it's a $15 million investment by the state government in the facilities here at Port Lincoln High, and there are so many things and aspects of the school that have been improved by the development.
The school's buildings catering for a range of different learning environments, including an Aboriginal education room.
So we've got art facilities, language spaces, there's an Aboriginal education room, a really exciting space for students with significant disabilities, and in particular special school students to access the annex as well.
The facility's hoping to give students in the regions the same opportunities as those studying in the metropolitan areas.
We're after parity, like for like. If there's an opportunity for a metropolitan student, we want the same opportunities out in the regions.
We want every one of the students who comes through this school to be on a pathway towards a successful life, a great job, a trade, an apprenticeship, a university pathway, whatever it is.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The region's drought hub continues to grow with the appointment of node coordinators from the Spencer Gulf. They'll deliver activities focusing on innovation and adoption to build drought resilience among our regional farmers.
It's not about preventing drought, but building resilience. Farmers in our region will not be alone when it comes to dealing with a drought. With new node coordinators set to work with farmers on a number of different projects that can help them get through the dry weather.
These included optimising containment feeding of livestock over summer and during periods of drought, as well as management of weeds and ground cover to retain soil moisture wherever possible.
The coordinators from Orroroo and Port Augusta come in with an array of experience, having worked in natural resource management and arid pastoral environments.
I think that's critical for this role in that the node coordinators will be liaising with stakeholders in their region every day, developing and implementing projects.
The hubs will act as a shop front where farmers and the community can walk in off the street and receive support for their mental health too.
Suite of activities spans from on-farm activities right through to mental health wellbeing and community resilience as well. So whilst there's an on-farm element, there's also a community element.
Plenty of farmers are expected to visit the hubs if the region faces another dry winter.
The shop fronts have just been established, but we anticipate that there'll be people coming through them on a regular basis.
Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. A new tourism video launches to attract more movers to Whyalla, and a Port Lincoln aged care home adds a splash of colour to the Arts Centre. Hello again. Whyalla City Council has launched a new promotional video encouraging people to consider moving to the Steel City. A formal big screen launch is planned to further showcase the video to the community.
Showcasing the best parts of Whyalla to potential new residents. The Whyalla City Council, in association with GFG Alliance, launching a new promotional video for the city.
A very exciting initiative. We're happy to partner with the City Council on because we've both got the joint interest in bringing bright, talented new people to town.
The aim, attracting more people to come and live in the Upper Spencer Gulf. Attractions such as Cuttlefish, the Foreshore Jetty and other civic facilities on centre stage in the promotion.
It's just showing all the wonderful attractions and things you can do in our city, and the aim is to attract people to come and live and work here in Whyalla.
The steelworks has seen a 17% increase in production since restructuring, also selected to build rail for the ARTC. The company says it has a positive outlook for the future.
We come on the back of some extensive efforts over recent years, particularly on our continuous improvement program, which has really improved our efficiency and productivity competitiveness across the steelworks in particular.
As for Whyalla's mayor, she's hoping the video will make people consider making the move to the Steel City.
We think it's really important. It's about the stability of the community, about growing our population. This video is part of how we are looking to entice people to come and make Whyalla their home.
The video can be viewed on the council's YouTube page. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A new business network is launching in Broken Hill this week, with Business Far West holding a number of events for local owners and employers. The group is looking to support and help businesses grow in Far West New South Wales.
Becoming a unified voice and helping local businesses grow. This is the aim for Business Far West.
So Business Far West has been working very closely with Broken Hill City Council and Foundation Broken Hill. So we've got quite a few events this week.
Kicking off tonight at 7 p.m. at the Community Centre, events include marketing and branding, COVID confidence, a small business month huddle workshop and a networking event, with the official launch on Thursday night at the Civic Centre. Minister for Small Business Eleni Patinos will be in attendance.
Rosie Seamer, one of our committee members, was in Sydney just recently and was speaking to the Small Business Commissioner, and he suggested that he would get the Small Business Minister to come to Broken Hill.
You don't have to own a business to attend the events. Staff are also welcome, as well as owners from other towns in the region.
We're really encouraging, because we are Business Far West, so anybody that can attend from any of the villages outside of Broken Hill, we would love to have them here, and we plan to continue to work with all of the different outlying areas.
Tickets are still available for the events. You can get them online or at the door.
We're really pushing the awareness campaign at the moment, but look, we just want as many people to turn up. If they don't get their tickets, we will have some available at the door, and we're still happy to welcome anybody to our events.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Senior Port Lincoln locals are showcasing their artistic talents by putting forward pieces which can be purchased by visitors. This year's Port Lincoln Senior Art Exhibition, officially beginning and now on display at the Nautilus Arts Centre.
Age not slowing down these talented artists, with more than 26 entrants displaying their works in this year's exhibition.
To give people that may not have enough to have an exhibition or enough to sort of put up for sale, to put up a couple of pieces and see how they go. And as I said, we've actually sold some pieces already, which is marvellous.
60 pieces are on display, offering a range of different paintings and sculptures. Seniors are excited for the opportunity to showcase their works.
As seniors, I guess, we have time on our hands more than when we had fairly frantic work life. So it's great to have the opportunity to be creative.
I would rather display things like this in the flesh rather than on the internet, because you don't see it correctly.
Growing up in a shipyard in the northeastern part of England, Derek found inspiration for his steam train piece.
It's probably a week's work in doing the machining and the assembly and the testing on air pressure and also steam. So, yeah, it's fun to see them going.
Janet also saying through art people can improve their mental health.
Art has some great outcomes for good mental health, and that's one of the things that I was really keen to sort of help promote through art. You know, it relieves stress.
Retire Australia is sponsoring the event, giving artists the chance to sell their works. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll take a look at all the scores from weekend sport across our regions. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather forecast. I'll see you soon. Welcome back. The finals continue for some of our summer leagues, with teams getting closer to premiership glory, while other sports head into the tail end of the season with finals in sight. Our reporter Christian Komenos has this week's sports wrap.
The first round of Port Pirie softball finals produced happiness and heartbreak as the Solly Cats clawed their way into the grand final. It was the Tigers who got off to a good start, getting 4 runs in the first innings as the Cats struggled in the field. Once the nerves were settled, the Cats were able to swing their heart out, with Taylor Scarman and Sam Burke getting the safe hits to pile on the runs. And the Cougars have knocked checkmates out of the competition, beating them by 6 runs. The Cougars will continue their premiership defence as they face off against the Tigers for a spot in the grand final. To Port Augusta basketball, and the men's competition produced 2 games that went down to the wire. The Wildcats were able to hold off the Cobras by 2 points. Max Makio was the best on ground for the Cats, scoring a whopping 22 points. And the Eagles got over the line by 5 points against the Titans. Jack Waterman and Cameron Benbow sharing the points for the Eagles. In the Women's League, Falcons Black beat the Falcons by 8 points, and the Spartans White defeated Spartans by 5, with only a round left until finals begin. Over to croquet, and it was Crystal Brook who got the better of Port Pirie, beating them 32 to 29 hoops. In the first game, Wilma Hendry and Erica Young were able to score 21 hoops to Pirie 16. The second game saw Lou James and Pat Norton beat Crystal Brook by 2 hoops, but it wasn't enough to get them over the line. To lawn bowls now, and Blue won their game against Laura 39 to 33 shots. Gold are out of the finals race after losing to Crystal Brook by 10 shots. Peterborough were able to edge out O'Shaughnessy Blue by 7. And Royals will go straight into the finals after beating Jamestown 44 to 37. If you would like to see your team's results featured in our bulletin, then please contact us through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby, and good evening, everyone. Well, it was a bit stormy and wet across most parts of the Gulf today. You certainly needed the umbrella. At 3 p.m, Broken Hill was 29. Those conditions skipped Port Pirie and Cooper Pedy, a top of 34 and 38. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta was 35, Wowler was 32, Port Lincoln was 29, Woodner reached 37 degrees, Kadina was partly cloudy and reached 34, but it was wet in Clare and a top of 32 there. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a cloud band with a broad trough over central and eastern South Australia is triggering showers and storms. Some are intense. More patchy cloud with another trough over the northwest is only bringing the odd shower and storm clear elsewhere. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Northeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swells around 1 metre. Those humid conditions are set to stick around tomorrow. Port Lincoln will reach 29, a possible shower in Cleve with 33, and Woodner will be very hot with a high of 38 degrees. Wowler will get to 34, Port Augusta partly cloudy with 36, Kadina 32 degrees. degrees. Humid in Port Pirie with 35, partly cloudy in Clare and 33 degrees, and Broken Hill will be sunny with 30 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, it'll be mostly sunny in Port Pirie on Thursday with 28 degrees. Port Lincoln will be partly cloudy and 25, humid in Port Augusta with 29, sunny in Cooper Pedy with a top of 35, 33 in Broken Hill, Whyalla mostly sunny with 30 degrees. To Friday's forecast now, Port Pirie and Broken Hill are both set to reach 29. Woodner will be partly cloudy with 28 degrees. Kadina 26, Port Lincoln 22, cloud clearing in Port Augusta with 27. Let's have our first look at the weekend now. Saturday is set to be sunny in most parts, mostly sunny in Woodner and Broken Hill with 31. Port Pirie will be sunny also 31, partly cloudy in Port Lincoln with 24, 32 and sunny in Port Augusta, and Whyalla will be mostly sunny with 28 degrees. So it appears that today's wet conditions are just a one-hit wonder, with the rest of the week looking lovely, Ruby. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Lovely. Thanks for that, Alex. And that's all local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. The team will be back tomorrow with more local news. Good night.